So, herbs. Herbs. Fantastic things. Flavour. Life should have flavour. And herbs are one of those things where you will, if you need it in a recipe, chances are you won't have it in the house and you'll have to run out to the supermarket to get it. Mm-hmm. And it's also the case, I grow a couple of herbs in my garden.
I don't. I can't grow a thing. So I always have to go to the supermarket.
But when you do, you find you have a glut all ready at the same time and not enough dishes.
Nobody wants that much mint tea all in one go.
No, they don't. So if this happens, you have a lot of herbs, or perhaps you might find them cheap.
Yes, on the cheap shelf. You go in and there's tons of one that you think, oh, I have no desire for anything to do with coriander this week, but
it's 10p a bag.
It's 10p, and we can't leave it there. We're off Yorkshire, as you know.
So I'm going to talk about 3 different types of herbs, basically. The ginger and lemongrass family, so more like the roots. Herbs that come on woody stalks, so that's rosemary, thyme, things like that.
They're the ones you have to do the
and sage
trick to get it off, aren't they?
Exactly. It's essentially the herbs where there's no flavour in the stalk in itself, and if you were cooking it fresh, you would take them off the stalk.
Somebody wouldn't like to get that stuck between their teeth.
Yeah, quite. And the third family are the soft ones where you can chop and include the stalks because they have flavour in them, so things like basil and coriander. So, group 1, the roots. So with ginger, simply peel the root that you have. You can freeze ginger completely whole, but the main fantastic thing about freezing ginger is you can grate it from frozen, and it's even easier to grate from frozen than it is to grate fresh.
Oh, you showed me that brilliant thing with the spoon.
Yes.
Remember that?
So you can take
Clever.
the skin of ginger root with a knife or a vegetable peeler, but there's a lot of waste involved. The easiest thing is take a teaspoon, or
you just scrat it down.
Yeah, and it comes off, and that's minimum waste. And then when you've got it, chop it into the size of chunks you want. So I tend to go with half a thumb because that's the amount I would grate into a stir fry or something like that, or to make a single pot of tea for me. And lemongrass freezes really fantastically. I just top and tail it. And you can freeze a whole stalk, and that you can put into things like cocktails to give them a lemony flavour.
Something to stir with as well.
Something to stir with. And that can go straight in, frozen, if you're making your cocktails a bit advanced of the party, and it'll be lovely and defrosted by the time people arrive. Or if you're making something like a Thai soup or Thai rice, you just chop it up into the size of chunk that you would like, and again, freeze it. Ideally, freeze it flat. I tend to put these things in the bag and then on top of a tray to save time. The second family is the stalks, the woody ones. So with those, take all the herbs off the stalks themselves, either freeze them whole or chop them up. I tend to chop them up because that's how I would like them to be when I throw them straight into dishes. Pop them in ice cube trays, cover 3/4 with water, and then freeze overnight. Take them out, top them up so the cubes are full, and freeze again. That just stops the top of the herbs, which poke up a little bit from the water, from getting freezer burn.
Oh yes, you want that barrier, don't you?
You do.
Air is bad.
Air is bad. Yes, mint, that's a fantastic point. So that can that's fantastic to be frozen, especially for mojitos, because if you chop it up...
She knew I was thinking about mojitos then. Did you see that? She knew she was going to make me do the grin.
This is the thing, I heard mojito in this ear.
You heard mint.
So you chop up the mint, freeze it in exactly the same way as I've just described, and it can go straight into a mojito, be crushed up. Fantastic. It can also go into teas, of course.
And it's already cold as well if it's going in the mojito. It's a double win.
It's a double win.
Saves you having more ice in there. And did you do número 3?
The third family is the soft ones, so things like coriander and basil. Coriander you can treat just like any other kind of herb, just chop it up, put it in the ice cube trays, cover with the water. The only difference is you don't need to remove the stalk. The stalk's got loads of flavour, it's got vitamins in it, so it's really fantastic to use. Basil, most of the time the things you would use it in benefit from olive oil, so a lot of people freeze basil, chopped up basil in oil. whatever you do with your herbs, freezing them in this way, just make sure you give them a wash and pack them dry first, because they're going to obviously go straight into whatever food you're cooking.
How long are those keeping for? Is it across the board? What's general consensus?
Opinion differs.
Oh, well, it would.
I would say the most common belief is 6 months is great for keeping.
Well, that's plenty, isn't it? I mean, how much do you have to whip off the cheap shelf to not get... Who's not having a mojito for 6 months? Go and see someone if you're not. You need to get on that.
Yes, well...
Oh, and what's that? There's a gin cocktail at the moment. Rosemary's very popular with gin cocktails, isn't it?
Yes,
So you could
some types of gin.
pop those into a gin cocktail.
That sounds wonderful.
We might need to go for a drink.